This video is going to be on how to learn from an answer key. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is don't look at your answer key until you've tried the problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to blank out my answer key here. Okay. Now I'm going to say, all right, to solve this problem, what do I need to do? So it says, noted that 15% of cell phones were Samsung. In 2014, the percentage was 40%. What percent change in Samsung cell phones? And I'm going to ignore the other questions. I'm just doing percent change. So I'm like, wow, I really don't even know how to start on this one. This is when I might look at the equation that's given at the top of the page, but otherwise I'm just going to go look at the answer key and see what the answer key tells me. Some answer keys are actually going to be videos, and that's going to be really helpful because that's going to be like, oh, that's going to show me what to do and I can pause it. But now I'm going to go here and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to shrink away this. So now it's not blocking it. And I'm going to say, okay, they have 25 over 100 equals percent over 100. And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. So if I'm really stuck and don't know where it came from, I'm just going to need to be like, I don't know how to start with this answer key. And that would be a good specific question I could ask my teacher. In fact, I could say, this 25%, where did it come from? Now, if that's not the case, we're going to go to final minus initial over initial. So I'm going to say, well, I'm going to see if I can figure it out. So I'm guessing the final is 40. I'm guessing the initial is 15 over initial is percent over 100. So let me use a little bit thicker of a tip so it shows up better. 40 minus 15 is 25, so 25 over 15 is percent over 100. And then if I cross multiply, so it's going to assume that I know how to take it from there and solve it and use a calculator. So I'm going to take 25 times 100 and I'm going to divide that by 15 and I'm going to get 167%. Make sure you put that in your calculator. If you just are like, oh, that's the answer, maybe you're doing the algebra wrong. So that would be another question to ask. But I got this to match that. That's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to actually go back and I'm going to cover up my answer key. And then I'm going to come and notice I am not looking at the answer key as I now try to solve it on my own. So I did this first one. I'm going to write it out again. So my final is 40 minus my initial is 15 over that initial of 15 is percent over 100. When I simplify or subtract, I get 25 over 15 is, I'll just call it x over 100. When I cross multiply, I might even want to write this out for me so I remember in the future. I divide both sides by 15 and that's where I got my 167%. So that is the first one. Now I'm going to try the second one. Okay, I feel like I got this a little bit better. So my final here, let's do this one in blue. My final is 6 and my initial is 8. So I'm going to say 6 minus 8 over initial is 8 is x over 100. Okay, so now I'm going to have 6 minus 8 is negative 2 over 8 equals x over 100. Cross multiply, I'm going to get negative 25%. Oh, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So now I'm going to go look at my answer key. And wait a second, they just have 25%, not negative 25%. So I'm like, I don't know, that's odd to me. So this is again where I could write down a question to ask. So here, why not negative? And then I have specific, I can circle and put a star. I have specific things I can ask to seek out help during office hours or something like that from my instructor. All right, that's a kind of, but I feel like I'm doing the math okay. I just am struggling with why that negative was. So I'm going to try one more. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep trying. And so let's go ahead and try this one. The relative humidity was 50% on October 1 and 75% on October 10. What was the percent change in humidity? All right, so the final is 75% minus the initial over 75% equals x over 100. So when I cross multiply, I'm going to have 25 over 75 is x over 100. And so when I get that, I'm going to have 2,500 divided by 75, and I'm going to get 33%. All right, let's look at the answer key. wait a second, what do they have here on the bottom? It is 50%. What? Oh, they divided by 50. I did 75. So this is where I can make a note here. This is the final. Divide by the initial. So I'll probably want to go back and redo this problem, but if I want to look, this is how I'm going to use the key, check the details to see what I'm doing. So that's one way you can learn from an answer key.